This is Michael Kowalski, writer and performer of Mothman, True Story, and you are listening to the Unbelievers Podcast. I know you wouldn't like it.
There were several groups. One of the principal ones was the reptilians from the Orion complex.
Without any exaggeration, it was like being on fire inside.
Rats were eating you up inside.
This stuff was in my mouth. It felt like it was 500 degrees. It was unbelievably hot.
My first question would be, were you a member of the Church of Satan, a card-carrying member of the Church of Satan? I don't understand.
There's always an argument for everything. You know, just because somebody can fake something doesn't necessarily mean it's real.
And we found a life form. And that's when I started shitting my pants.
So for the person who called, I am carrying an alien.
An alien baby. We covered right here, okay?
Okay.
Something is happening. What is it? That's the question. So do UFOs exist? It depends on what you mean exist.
Last week, the Unbelievers Podcast dove headfirst into the realm of Satanism in the world of rock and roll and heavy metal music, told from the 1989 Christian documentary Hell's Bells, a documentary rife with poorly acted skits, wild accusations, and lots of killer music videos. Tonight, we finish what we started by discussing the final two parts of this epically long expose of People Bob's plan to corrupt the youth of the world with the devil's music. Will we learn about more evil musicians like Bobby Brown and Jovi? Will there be more skits? More backmasking? More obscure bands to discover? More peeing on nuns? We'll find out tonight because church is back in session and your soul is on the line. It's Hell's Bells 2 right here on the program where you continue to learn to unlearn everything you know. Hello and welcome to the Unbelievers Podcast. I'm your host, Rus Ryan, and joining me tonight is my co-host in California, Drea Mora. Hello, Drea.
Hi.
And on New York City in New York City, it's Rob Okey, our soundboard engineer producer. Hello, Rob.
Find out if there was a virus.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
I should have seen that one coming.
We should. I'm all out of it. 'Cause we are late this week. We're sorry. Just been crazy schedule-wise and with everything else. So we have listened to popular demand, I guess. And yes, we will be doing what, guys?
Hell's Bells. More bells.
2 bells.
All right, hell year.
2 bells.
Hell year to Hell's Bells 2, because let's do it now. Let's get into it. Hell's Bells 2.
Sing is a friend of mine. Sing is a friend of mine. Can I be why would you love that sing? It's a riddle. Play by super. Play by super.
That's right. Satan, not us. He's a friend of mine. Back again, yes, by popular demand, we are going back to hell. Hell's Bells, that is.
Couldn't stay away.
The 1989 Christian documentary by Eric Holmberg. Let's just get right back into it. We left off last time getting through parts 1, 2, and 3 of this interminable expose on the evils of rock and roll and heavy metal and some pop music and whatever scraping fetus off the wheel is categorized as.
I love them now.
Yeah, no, I told you they're a good band.
I love them.
I don't know exactly what subgenre they fall into, but they're great.
But we ended on part 3. It was the fruit of the rock. And now we're jumping right back in. Now we're going into part 4 of this all-day sermon that we are taking everyone to now. Here it is. Part 4 is called The Fruit of Rock, Part 2. And remember Part 3 was where things started getting really dark towards the end. Remember the Iron Maiden freak, the Bobby Brown, the gay frogs.
Well, I thought that was kind of some levity there, but you're right. The other shit was really dark.
Yeah, I don't think we even made the Alex Jones Association. Someone else did. And the frogs for the gay band, we just didn't do it.
I have transmognified it, if that's a word, to the most delicious burger in the galaxy.
He just got a Dewey also, by the way. So Alex Jones is having some rough times. Shout out to Alex Jones.
Alex Jones in the news. Shout out to sushi restaurants. We needed this.
Yeah, it's weird that some disease comes along to cover up that, or everyone forget about that story real quick. He's loving it. But that's where we left off, was with the really dark last part. Let's hope that this doesn't get any worse. And the one thing that I'm hoping for, man, in this, I want more backmasking. That's the thing that I really remembered about seeing this thing live, is and taking mental notes on what albums that they had on. And I would seek out the albums that they mentioned, was the backmasking. And the only one that I really remember, and you guys would never guess, it was from a band called Styx. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Styx.
Yeah, Sailing Away, right?
Well, such a rocking song.
A total rocking heavy metal band, totally satanic, obviously. But I remember there being a backwards message in a Styx song called Snowblind. I'll save that, though. Let's get into it. The Fruit of Rock 2. This starts off about rebellion and how being rebellious is just a cool way of being immoral. And then the host, Eric, starts flexing that music knowledge of his again. He starts playing a Lydia Lunch song and then some Sex Pistols. So this kind of started off again where I'm like, here he goes again. But he wraps up. The rebellion thing it wasn't anything really great in it. But he decides to go after the concert Live Aid.
Rock and rebellion have become so intertwined, in fact, that even the rock industry's voluntary attempts at towing the line of human decency are fundamentally flawed. Take, for example, the many component parts that together made up Live Aid. Rock shot at world hunger.
Relax, Frankie goes to Hollywood.
Are we to believe that celebrating the joys of sex and sadomasochism is really going to help the world? Practically speaking, several journals, including Rock's own Spin magazine, have reported that most of the aid ended up in the hands of Ethiopia's communist dictator, and that few starving people were ultimately saved.
Okay, right out of the gate, even when Rock is trying to be good, they mess it up, man. The rock and rollers can't win.
Well, that's not their fault.
Yeah, it's not their fault that, like, what do you say, communist dictators took all the money from Live Aid. But Live Aid was this huge benefit concert. It went on in 2 countries, and it just had, like, the biggest artists in the world playing. Led Zeppelin did their reunion on there, and it was awful.
Yeah.
I watched some of that. Phil Collins is on drums.
Wasn't that the thing that Bob Geldof arranged? Isn't that the Bob Geldof thing? And, there's a lot of problems with the money. The money didn't make it to the right places. But,
well, you know what? That happens all the time with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. People don't shine a light on that.
But it went to communists?
No, I don't know. It's going to someone's pockets instead of who it really needs to go to is the thing.
True.
Yes, just like Live Aid. But he goes after Live Aid because he's trying to prove a point about rebellion. He's like, even when rock is trying to do good, they're still messing it up. So this whole theme was rebellion, and the only really good thing was Live Aid. He wraps up the rebellion part quickly, though, because it's time for the real deal stuff, okay? The occult in rock. And I got to ask you guys a question. Do you know what is a very popular occult symbol for the devil used by a lot of rock musicians in the 80s?
I'm going to go ahead and say the pentagram, Alex. Sorry, what is the pentagram?
Let's find out. Let's hear.
There is none more foundational than the pentagram, the 5-sided star that is central to occult ritual. There is also no other symbol more common to the rock music industry. Motley Crue, Slayer, Bebop Deluxe, Metal Fatigue, Venom, Ebony Record, Sam Kinison, Suicidal Tendencies, The Plasmatics, Blackie Lawless's original group Sister, and AC/DC are just a few examples where the satanic symbol is used.
It's a really popular symbol and very easy to draw. Yeah, congrats, the pentagram. I feel like I could hear him list bands all day.
Yeah. I mean, he sounds like he's advertising them like he did in the beginning of this whole thing.
I love how Sam Kinison is still in there in the middle of all that. Sam Kinison.
Yes.
You just can't like stars, I guess.
But I want to ask you guys, do you guys know what my top 3 metal bands of all time are?
Motley Crue, Slayer, Bebop Deluxe.
Yes, Bebop.
Really? Yeah, that's great.
Bebop Deluxe. Am I a nerd and I just don't know who they are? Is that a big metal band and I just don't know them?
I've never heard
I told you my favorite 3 metal bands are
Motley Crue, Slayer, Bebop Deluxe.
Well, I'll keep that in mind when it's time for Secret Schneider to come around again.
Yeah, get me Bebop. Finding pentagrams on metal and bebop albums is a piece of cake, though, and so is this next one. You guys know the rock out, like, devil hand symbol that people do at concerts? You know, the rock hand?
Yeah, devil horns.
Devil horns.
Throw the devil horns up.
Yeah. Did you know that has a name?
No.
The devil horns.
Yeah, devil horns.
Come on. Educate these fools, Eric.
Another symbol that is integral to satanic religion is the El Coronado, a hand gesture that represents the devil himself. Like the pentagram, it too is virtually everywhere in rock music.
What?
I'm pretty sure that's just Latin for devil horns.
El Coronado.
Yeah, the El Coronado. That's what people would pumping their fists at the metal shows do.
How come there's no band named that yet? That's dumb. I'm sure there is. I have to do a little more research.
Well, we're just learning here. Did you guys like when he listed all the pentagram people from before?
Yeah, that was great. It just gives you like a shopping list of bands to listen to.
Well, do you think he lists El Coronado people in the same exact random ass way?
Probably. I hope.
Well, let's hear.
Ozzy Osbourne, Meatloaf, Rick James, Cheap Trick, Motley Crue, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Coven, The Beatles, Kiss, Todd Rundgren, and Dio are just a few examples where this sign for Satan is used.
Yeah, Todd Rundgren. Rocking out for
sick
Satan.
Playlist.
I know, right? God, now I want to listen to some Todd Rundgren.
So play soundboard 2 because, Rob, hey, what's your top 3 satanic rockers?
Meatloaf, Rick James, Cheap Trick.
All right.
Actually, I'm kind of a fan of all of those guys. I love all of those.
Yeah, you got the good chunk.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf is awesome. If you haven't listened to Meatloaf, you should listen to Meatloaf.
Gets rolled into this, into Hell's Bells too.
He looks like a vampire.
Rick James.
It's literally just because he looks like a vampire. That's why they involved Meatloaf in this, and because
that's why this thing is so long. He's gone through everybody. He even showed a Rod's album way in the second episode of this. He's gone on to everyone has to get it now.
What did Cheap Trick do?
They were doing the Coronado.
Oh yeah, right. I mean,
honestly, it's just fun to do.
Yeah. What else are you going to do at a concert?
I don't know what they're doing though.
That's it.
You want to be on Hell's Bells 3? Don't do it.
I do.
So we have the pentagram, the Coronado. What about the other very popular occult symbol? It's a number. It's 666, the number of the beast, and it's very commonly used by these devil rockers. One, he points out in particular, there's no list this time, is Jimmy Page. I'm sorry. Jimmy Page from the band Led Zeppelin.
Most rock fans will recognize this hieroglyphic, commonly pronounced Sozo, as the unofficial name for Led Zeppelin's untitled fourth album, and the personal symbol for Zeppelin's founder, Jimmy Page. What most people don't know is that by Page's own admission, Sozo is a stylized 666. Not since Nero's Rome has the mark of the beast found such widespread expression.
Boy, line up the music with that perfect. But yeah, did you guys know? Zozo, that's just a fancy 666.
I think I had heard of it before. It sounded familiar when you said that. But what's more important, besides it looks like really, really cool, it sounds like Zozo.
Yeah, well,
it looks like Zozo.
I think it goes deeper. It goes deeper than even what he just said.
I mean, yeah, I bet.
It definitely does.
I'm sure you're right.
It definitely does.
We should do a whole episode on Jimmy Page.
You could. You really could.
Yeah.
He has a lot, and he pops up again in this. But putting Zozo aside for now, the host, Eric Holmberg, brings an interesting theory to why rocking music is inherently evil.
It's really no surprise that the Antichrist spirit has become so manifest in rock. There is abundant evidence that rock and roll's lifeblood has in some part been drawn from a musical form whose sole purpose is to summon forth evil spirits. Voodoo.
Oh no, voodoo! Can y'all scream like a witch?
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Marie Laveau, huh?
Can y'all scream like a witch?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Because Louisiana is known for 3 things: good food, Mardi Gras, and voodoo.
Voodoo. I never associated those guys with voodoo before Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, never. Oh, I thought you were going to say New Orleans.
Oh, he's just back. I think all of it comes from voodoo. We're going to hear him break down the voodoo to scraping fetus connection.
Voodoo originated in Africa and was brought to the Americas centuries ago via the slave trade. There it gradually evolved into jazz, rhythm and blues, and finally rock. That by itself does not make these musical forms necessarily demonic, but rock and roll has dabbled in and at times even embraced the essence of voodoo in a manner unique among other contemporary musical styles.
I don't know. Even to him, it kind of sounds like a stretch. And maybe that's why it's buried in part 4, that voodoo is the cause of all music. It's not like voodoo was a thing, but it's not a genre. I understand that maybe blues came from it, but come on.